Hey, good morning, y'all. Welcome to our first lesson video. As advertised, the instructional portion of this class is going to be streamed to you live. Well, not really live, but it'll be on your laptop for whenever you need it, whenever suits you best. This is the first video of a two-part lesson around annotation strategies. So I'll go through part one today, and then part two will be next time. So let's dive in. We're talking about annotation strategies, kind of under the heading layers of meaning. And goal-wise, here's our objective. I want us to be able to use annotations to describe our comprehension of a story, and I want us to be able to describe aspects of a story's setting and aspects of a story's plot. And this will be really helpful as we navigate our first text today. I have the objectives here in Spanish and French as well, if you prefer. So what does it mean to annotate? To annotate means to take notes to help us understand, and we do this all the time. We don't always write them down, but we take mental notes all the time to help us understand things we need to remember, patterns we recognize, and we do it without even thinking about it. But sometimes when we read, it helps to think about it, and it helps to take notes on purpose. This is why our phones have the Notes app on them. Notes are things that help us understand. And we have a strategy that we can use to help us understand what we read. For this class, how we annotate depends on our purpose. And so in our English class, purposes could include any of the following. It could be to strengthen our initial comprehension and help us understand what we're reading. It could be to identify literary elements. It could be to interpret the author's purpose. It could be to make connections between texts or connect to other ideas. And so these four purposes, initial comprehension, literary elements, author's purpose, connections to other texts or ideas, we can think of these four purposes as four different layers of meaning that kind of build on each other. So step one is like the initial comprehension. Do we understand? And then once we kind of understand it, we can look for literary elements. We can try to divine the author's purpose behind their choice of certain strategies or elements, and we can make connections to other texts or ideas. So that's how we annotate. That's what we annotate for. And for that first layer of annotating to help us with our initial comprehension, there's two steps. Step one is to picture what's being described in the text in your mind's eye. Imagine it, envision it, bring it to life in some way. And step two is to connect that mental image to your prior knowledge. So you are intelligent. You have lived your life on this planet for 14 or 15 years, most of you, and you have experiences that are valuable and will help you understand the world around you. So for instance, I have this text from Long Way Down, which we're doing in our reading lab class, that goes, "The sadness is just so hard to explain. Imagine someone, a stranger, got you strapped down, pliers in your mouth, grabs a tooth, one of the big ones, rips it out." So the mental image I get of that is I can picture someone getting their tooth yanked out, like at the dentist, someone just yanking your tooth out like that. That's the mental image. That's what I can picture from reading this passage. And then I used to connect that to some prior knowledge. I know getting a tooth pulled hurts because I had my wisdom teeth out. I knew it was painful. And Will's also talking about losing a loved one. His brother just died. And I know that hurts too because of how I felt when my grandpa died. And so I can put this together, my mental image and my prior knowledge. I can use it to understand that even though the passage is about getting a tooth yanked out, that's not really what he's talking about. What he's really talking about is loss and feeling sad or feeling in pain when someone who you loved is gone. And so it's not a passage about dentistry. It's a passage about loss, it's about pain. And I can understand that based on my notes here, based on the mental image that I made and the prior knowledge I connected to. And so I'm asking you to do exactly that for our for the short story called Bread. And so we are going to read the short story called Bread by Margaret Atwood. It's divided into 5 paragraphs, and for each paragraph, I want you to come up with the mental image. You don't have to sketch it. If you want to, you can, but you can just describe it. So you don't have to put a picture, but you can if you want to put a picture, but you don't have to. What you do have to do is after you describe and or sketch your mental image, connect to your prior knowledge. So based on that mental image you come up with, what in your background knowledge helps you understand that mental image? what in your prior knowledge helps you figure out what it is the author is really talking about or meaning. And I'll help you through this. I'll help you navigate the practice as you work with your partner, and we'll go from there. After the practice, there's a mastery check on paper behind my desk, and this is it. That's the end of part 1. Remember, you can wind this video back, rewatch parts of it, use this video to help you do your note catcher. And I will see you later.